Hi everyone, welcome to Techie World. So, as we promised in the last session, that we will be coming up with a session on the type of inheritance in Java. So, let's straight away jump to the topic, that is type of inheritance in Java. Now, to discuss type of inheritance in Java, there are many types available. Many types of inheritance available in Java. First one is inheritance, which is also called as simple inheritance. So let us say you have two classes, class A and class B. Okay. And class B is extending the class A, then you can call it as a inheritance or simple inheritance. Don't worry, we'll be discussing each inheritance in detail with the pseudocode. Okay. Now let us move to the next type of inheritance, that is multi-level inheritance. To understand multi-level inheritance, just imagine you have three classes now. Let us say you have a class A, class B, and class C. Now, let us say class B is extending class A and class C is extending class B, which means you have multi-level of inheritance, which means A is a superclass, okay, B is a subclass to superclass, and C is a subclass to B class. So indirectly, all the methods and properties available in the A class will be available in B and C also, and all the properties or behavior of the class B will be available to class C. That is what multi-level inheritance is. Now, coming to the next type of inheritance, that is hierarchical inheritance. In hierarchical inheritance, you will have one superclass and you will have multiple subclasses associated with the same superclass. Okay, let us say you have class A and then you have class B, class C. Okay, so class B will be extending class A and class C will also be extending class A, which means it's a hierarchical interface. Now, coming back to the fourth type of inheritance in Java, that is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance, the very first thing that you need to learn about multiple inheritance is it is not supported in Java with the classes. You can achieve multiple inheritance in Java with the interfaces, not with the classes. Okay. Now, what is multiple inheritance? Multiple inheritance is when a class have more than one parent class, okay, or more than one superclass, then that kind of inheritance will be called as multiple inheritance. Multiple, as the name suggests, it means more than one superclass to a particular class will be called as multiple inheritance. Let us move to the next type of inheritance, that is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is basically combination of any of the two above. Okay, it could be single inheritance plus hierarchical, it could be multi-level inheritance plus multiple, it could be hierarchical plus single, it could be single plus multiple. It means inheritance is a type of inheritance in which two of above is available. Okay, so since this multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through classes, hybrid inheritance is also not supported in the Java through classes. You can always achieve hybrid inheritance in Java using interfaces. Now, let us dig deeper on each of these inheritance and let us see how this works. Let's first jump to single inheritance. What is single inheritance? Single inheritance is an inheritance where there will be one subclass and one child class, which means there will be a class which will have just one superclass. Okay, now what is the second point about single inheritance? Single inheritance inherit the properties and behavior of the single parent class. If you see the second point, it is derived from the first point only, right? Because if it will have only one parent class, it means it will be having the properties and behavior of single parent class, right? Single inheritance is also known as simple inheritance, as I told you earlier. Now let's see how this looks like in a code. If you see, there is a class A. Under class A, we have method M1, and there is some task being performed there. Okay. Now, to explain the single inheritance, we can write another class which will extend the class A, and it will perform some task. Okay, it may have a method M2 or MN, I mean anything, right? So this code snippet that you're seeing on the right hand side is basically representing the single inheritance. Now, just for the sake of your understanding, you can have a look on this diagram. You can see there is a class A, there is a class B, and class B is extending class A. So this is how it is represented in the diagrammatical form. Okay. Let us move to the next type of inheritance. So, as the name suggests, it is multi-level, means there will be a class A, class B, and class C. Class B is extending class A, and class C is extending class B. That is basically a multi-level inheritance is. So, if you see the first point, in this type of inheritance, a class is derived from a class which is also derived from another class. So, C is being derived from B, but B is also derived from A, right? Now, the next point about multi-level inheritance is we can say that a class that has more than one parent class is called multi-level inheritance. So, if you see the next point, there is just a single base class and single derived class, but multiple intermediate base classes, right? So, if you see on the right side to understand this point better, there is a class A, then there is a class B which is extending class A, and then there is a class C which is extending class B. Now, if you observe this pseudocode carefully, there is a single base class that is A, and there is a single derived class that is class C, but there are more than one or more derived classes or intermediate classes, right? Which is class B. Class B is a intermediate base class, but A is a parent, right? C is a child class. B is also a child class to class A. C is a child class to class B, right? To understand this better, have a look on this diagram. So if you see, there is a class C which is extending class B, and there is a class B which is extending class A, right? Now let us move to the next type of inheritance, that is hierarchical inheritance. So, as explained earlier, hierarchical inheritance is a kind of inheritance where base class is one, but derived classes are multiple. What does it mean? It means there will be one parent class, and that parent class is being extended by multiple classes. Okay, so if you see the first point, if number of classes are derived from a single base class, it is called hierarchical inheritance, right? So that's the same point written here in the second point. In hierarchical inheritance, one class serves as a superclass for more than one subclasses, right? So there will be one parent class, but there will be multiple child classes in the hierarchical interface. So if you see there is a class A on the right hand side, and there is a class B. Class B is extending class A. Now let us say there is a class, another class called C, and C is also extending A, right? There is a class D which is also extending A. What does it mean? It means that A is a superclass or A is a parent class, and it has multiple child classes. Child classes are B, C, and D. Let's have a look on this diagram. So if you see, there is a superclass A, right? And there are three subclasses, that is B, C, and D. So that's what hierarchical interface looks like. Let us move to the next type of inheritance, that is multiple inheritance. So as I told you earlier, multiple inheritance simply means one class have multiple superclasses or one class have multiple parent classes. Okay, so this type of inheritance is not supported in the Java with classes, but it is supported in the Java with the interface. If you finding this statement confusing, you can write in the comment. I'll explain with the code also. Okay, let us move to the first point. In multiple inheritance, one class can have more than one superclass and inherit feature from all the parent classes, right? That's what I told you. There will be one superclass, there will be one subclass, and there will be multiple superclasses for a class, and it will be inheriting all the properties and behavior of the all the superclasses, right? That's why it is not possible with the classes, because you can have the same method, name of the method. Let us say you have a class A, you have a class B, you have a class C. Now let us say there is a class C which is extending class A, and the same class C extending class B. Now let us say you have a M1 method in class A and M1 method, same method M1 in class B. Now since C is extending both these classes, how when you call the M1 method from class C, how it will identify that which method you are calling, right? It can go to A, it can go to B. So here it will have an ambiguity error. That's why multiple inheritance is not supported with the classes. Now let us move to the second point. That is that I already told you, right? That multiple inheritance is not supported in Java with classes, but it is supported with the interfaces. Now let's have a look on this pseudocode, which will explain this multiple inheritance in a better way. Okay. Now let us say there is a class A, okay, and it has a method M1. Now let us say there is a class B also, which is having method M1, same method. Okay. But these methods are performing a different task. Now there is a class C, which is extending class B and class A also. Okay. Now, if you observe, let's say you are trying to call the M1 method. Okay. Now, when you try to call this M1 method from class C, since it is extending class B and class A, it will be confused. Compiler will be confused which method you are calling, right? That's why this multiple inheritance is not supported with the classes in Java. It is supported with the interfaces. Now, let us move to the next type of inheritance that we have in the Java. Just before that, we have this diagram to explain the multiple inheritance. If you see here, there is class A, there is class B, and these two classes are being extended by the same class C, as we have seen in the pseudocode on the right hand side. Let us move to the next type of inheritance in Java, that is hybrid inheritance. So in hybrid inheritance, we can say that hybrid inheritance is a type of inheritance which is a combination of, it is hybrid, right? As the name suggests, hybrid. It is actually a combination of one or more inheritance, right? That is already available in Java. So it could be a combination of simple inheritance or multi-level or multiple or any inheritance, right? So it is a mix of two or more of the above type of inheritance, right? Since Java doesn't support multiple inheritance, this hybrid inheritance is also not possible with the classes in Java. This I explained you in the very first slide, right? The very next point about hybrid inheritance is it is supported in Java through interfaces only. Okay. Now let's have a look on this code snippet to understand this hybrid inheritance in a better way. Okay. So let us say there is a class A and there is a class B which is extending class A. Now there is a class C which is also extending class A. Okay. And there is a class D which is extending class B and C. So if you see here, it is a combination of class B and C have the same superclass, that is A, which means it is a hierarchical interface. Sorry, hierarchical inheritance, right? D is extending B and C, which is a multiple inheritance, right? So it is a combination of hierarchical and multiple. This we can call as hybrid inheritance. But this hybrid inheritance is not supported in Java through classes. You can achieve this hybrid inheritance in Java through interfaces. So that's all for today. We have discussed the type of inheritance, and also in the previous session we have discussed what is inheritance. We'll come up with the more informative video on this channel. If you are new to this channel, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.